Mobility means basically how can somebody move from a lower caste to an upper caste, or how somebody from an upper caste move to a lower caste. Mobility in practical sense does not really exist in caste system in India. What is caste? Now, caste can be defined as a hereditary. So let me just write out or point out the important features of caste system in India. That first of all, it is hereditary. It is based on the concept that it is driven by family. And similarly, it's an endogamous group. That means you cannot go out of your caste. And endogamous means that the marriages will happen within the same caste. So it is hereditary, it is driven by on the basis of birth, it is passed through generations, it is endogamous, having a common name, like everybody has a common surname, based on their caste. They have a common traditional occupation also. This actually got bifurcated later on and was converted into jatis because so many, different occupations came up after a period of time. So to accommodate that, different caste came up according to the occupation that they were in, which was referred to as jatis. But originally, caste only consists of four. There are only four types of caste, or the Varna system, which was based on the Vedas. So basically, caste is hereditary, it is endogamous, it is having a common name, it has a common traditional occupation, have a common culture, and it is relatively rigid. Why it is rigid is because you cannot get out of your caste. You cannot just come out of your caste. There is no such thing known as mobility in a caste system. You cannot change your caste. Very, very limited. That is also based on marriage. If a person from a lower caste marries a person from a higher caste, then probably they can somewhat reduce the effect of caste. But otherwise, in matters of mobility means basically how can somebody move from a lower caste to an upper caste, or how somebody from an upper caste move to a lower caste. Mobility in practical sense does not really exist in caste system in India. So in matters of mobility, distinctiveness of status and forming a single homogeneous community is what basically a caste system is. So majorly in India, the caste system was associated with Hindus because it is related to your later Vedic period, and the Varna system. Because according to the Varna system, what basically constitutes caste is that there is a theory which says that all these castes originated from the different portion of Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma is considered as the the origin of caste. So Brahmins, or the uppermost caste, who are the priests and teachers, came from the mind of Lord Brahma because they are considered the smartest one. Kshatriyas were the warriors and the rulers. They were there to protect their subjects, and they came from the shoulder. Shoulder means strength. Vaishyas were the farmers, traders, and merchants. They came actually from the thighs. And Shudras, or the laborers, they came from the foot, or the bottommost section of society. And the last were the Dalit, or the outcast. These were the sweepers, the workers who are in working as manual scavengers. The Dalit or the outcast are basically not a part of the Varna system. So typically there used to be just four Varnas. They still exist. Unfortunate, but it's a reality that Brahmins originated from the head of Lord Brahma, Kshatriyas from the shoulder of Lord Brahma, Vaishyas from the thighs, and Shudras from the foot. And the most downtrodden, the Dalit, who were considered as the outcast because it was not possible for other people to see them, touch them, or even stand in close vicinity to them. They were basically somebody who were not even considered as a part of caste system. Now, what is the importance of caste system is because caste system is one thing that basically decides your hierarchy in society, your social standing. The Brahmins were at the top because they were the thinkers, the political thinkers, the strategists. They were the learned one because they were allowed to read Sanskrit. Only the upper two castes were generally allowed to read Sanskrit. Kshatriyas were the rulers. They were the king. They were there to protect the Brahmins. They were there to protect the subjects. They were the warriors. Vaishyas were the traders. They were supposed to pay taxes in order to get protection from the Kshatriyas. Shudras were there to serve the upper three castes, or they were basically the laborers. And Dalit were someone which were doing menial jobs. They were not even considered a part of society. So that is a unique feature of India. Basically, this kind of system which is based on birth, or which is based on which is hereditary, actually this kind of system does not exist in any part of the world. Though there are some thinkers and some writers who have suggested, some sociologists who have suggested that this kind of system does exist in other parts of the world as well, in some other countries, in Europe and in Africa. But in reality, something like a caste system is very, very unique feature of India. Not in a good way, but yes, it is a part of India and entrenched part of Indian society. So the Brahmins were the priestly or the academic class. They were the learned people. Kshatriyas were the ruler, the administration, running the administrators and the warriors. The Vaishyas were the artisans, the tradesmen, the farmers, the merchants, and Shudras were the manual laborers, and Dalits were the street cleaners or the menial tasks, which were not even considered a part of society. So if we consider the structure of caste system in India, we have to discuss what are the standout feature, or what are the characteristics features of the caste system in India. So caste is basically consisting firstly of hierarchy. Why exactly does the caste system exist? The major function of caste system is basically to decide the hierarchy, who goes at the top, who goes at the bottom, who lies in the middle. So it is basically the ranking of people on the basis of their caste, on, or basically on the basis of their occupation and the family in which they were born. And this concept is kind of linked with the concept of purity and impurity. So the caste which were at the top were considered as pure, the caste which were at the bottom were considered as impure. And that is why, because it's a system of hierarchy where people are divided and ranked according to their status based on the families they are born in. This leads to a segmental division of society. So it leads to what we call as the stratification of society. There is a division of society, there is a hierarchy in society, and basically it is based on your birth. It is based by birth. It is not based on achievement. Whatever you do, you cannot change your caste. So membership to a caste system is based on your birth. You become a member of a caste on the basis of your birth. You can't control it. This is something which is not in your hands. You belong to a particular caste because you were born into that caste. You were born into a family of that caste. The other thing about caste in India is that it believes in endogamy. So people from the same caste marry the people from their same community or same caste. This is to basically maintain the purity of their caste. So endogamy believes in the idea that that a particular caste is allowed to only marry in a particular caste. Though nowadays the things are changing because there is a lot of intercaste marriages happening in India. But there was a recent survey which was conducted, and it said that still a lot of Indians prefer to marry in their own caste, and especially young Indians, not like the people who are already married or parents. So there was a survey which was done by Times of India. It said that, in fact, it was even published by the Indian Express. It came out 2 months back. It said that in India, still a lot of young people prefer to marry within the same caste. Right. So the other thing that is negative about caste system in India is the practice of untouchability. It is basically a restriction certain lower castes to not to use public property, what we say na chua chhoot. So basically the people belonging to the untouchables or the Dalits were not allowed to access public property. They were not allowed to enter temple. They were not allowed to enter public places. They were not allowed to use common wells. So this was criminalized as a part of our constitution. Article 17, as you know, abolishes untouchability of any kind, and this is a part of fundamental rights now. I think untouchability is the most abhorrent form of discrimination, that is something which is not acceptable in any form of society. Now, belonging to a particular caste leads to what is known as a certain civil and religious disability. Now, what does this mean is that because you belong to a certain caste, you are not allowed to follow certain religious practices. For example, the upper two castes only used to have the the Janeyu ceremony, the sacred thread that was worn by the Brahmins and the Kshatriyas, this was not available to other castes. Similarly, you are not allowed to read Sanskrit, only the upper two castes were allowed to read Sanskrit. Some versions are there which say that even the Vaishyas were allowed, but that is very limited. So only the upper two castes were allowed to read in Sanskrit. Then there are civil disabilities also. For example, you cannot go to a particular place, you cannot do a certain activity, you cannot dress up in a certain way, you cannot speak in a certain way. So all of these were a result of the caste system. Because you belong to a particular caste, you cannot do certain things, and that is the main feature of caste system. And the other important aspect of caste system is the hereditary status on which it is based on. You derive your caste by your birth, by the family in which you are born, and later on it was also based on occupation. For example, Kshatriyas originally and traditionally were always warriors, they were the kings and the rulers. Brahmins were the priests or the intellectual ones. Later on, when the population grew, a lot of different type of occupation came up, and because of that, what happened was a lot of these castes got segregated in what is called as jati. So we came with a concept of varnas and jati. So varnas are only four: the chatur varna, the Brahmin, the Kshatriya, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras, and jatis are basically subdivision of them based on occupation. So you have so many groups now of different jatis and castes. So a lot of people actually get confused on the concept of varnas and jati, but there are only four varnas. Jatis are majorly based on occupation. The other thing about your caste system is there is a restriction on the basis of your food habits. For example, the upper caste had a different food habit. The lower castes are not allowed to enjoy certain food habits. You cannot have certain foods. You're not allowed to have certain drinks. Similarly, there is a lot of cultural differences also. The practices, for example, a lot of things are not allowed in lower caste. They are not allowed to celebrate some of the major festivals also. There are a lot of issues like this in remote pockets of India. Then there is a concept of pollution, basically the concept of impurity, that, oh, by chance, if I touch the other person from the lower caste, I will become impure, because they are considered as impure. So there is a concept of pollution. Then there is a taboo. Taboo in the sense you are not allowed to talk to, not even allowed to talk to a person belonging to a lower caste. And marrying in a lower caste was considered as something of a sort of a sin. And based on that, that is why the society became segregated, because you have these different caste people living in different areas. So this leads to social segregation. So in a way, people belonging to a particular varna or particular caste became one homogeneous community, and that led to segregation of society based on the aspect of caste system. Right. So these are the features of caste system in India.